Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Anna and I'm here to do another acrylic pouring video for you today. So I'm very excited for today's painting because it's one that I've actually had in my mind, kind of dreaming about it for over a year actually, and I probably shouldn't have let it go this long before actually doing it, but I'm getting to it now and I'm excited. So about a week ago I made a clock, a wooden clock face using some Jupiter colors, brown and cream and reddish and copper, and it turned out really pretty. And I want to use those same colors today, but I'm going to do a flip and drag on a big 12 by 24 inch canvas. So I'm going to be using 5 cups here, 5 flip cups, which I've never done that many flip cups on a canvas before. Also, I'm not using my typical pouring mix. I'm using glue and water as my pouring medium. So I mixed it up just in this bottle by weight. It's about 3 parts glue to 1 part water. And I've seen it recommended as 60% glue and 40% water, but that ends up being too watery for the paints that I use, and I end up getting way too many cells, which you go, too many cells? Yes, actually you can have cells that you don't want, and the reason I'm using the glue and water pouring medium is because I want to be able to bring up the majority of my cells with my kitchen torch here instead of having too many of them pop up automatically. So I've mixed my paint quite thick, and I'm going to be adding some silicone oil. So I'm going to add about 1 drop per ounce. So for most of these cups, it's about 3 or 4 drops. And then as I mix that silicone in, I will explain my colors. Okay, so I've got metallic gold. This is actually antique gold, which I think I got by mistake instead of the regular pure gold that I get from FolkArt. I like the pure gold better, but this I think will work quite well with these other warm earth tones. So as you can see, it's a pretty thick consistency, and this gold is actually the thinnest of all of them. I used more paint and less of the pouring medium because it just wasn't thick enough. And then my white here is Sargent white, which I like better than apple barrel white because it cracks less and it's cheaper. So you can see how thick that is. It flows. It flows nicely, but it leaves quite a pile there. This is about as thick as a bloom pour, honestly. So it's quite a thick mixture because I really don't want to get too many cells popping up on their own. I want to be able to make the cells come up. So then I've got metallic copper, which is by Blickrylic. And I really like this color a lot. It's a nice, almost pink metallic, like a dark rose gold. Nice and warm. So that's also, you can see how it flows nicely. And then I've got this one. This is Alizarin Crimson, I think is how you say it, by Blick Studio Acrylics. It looks quite pink here, quite purpley, but it is actually, when it dries, it turns to this nice dark maroon red. Then I've got this, which is Unbleached Titanium, also by Blick Studio Acrylics. And this one, man, it just looks so thick. Like it flows nicely off the stick, but you just see it stacking up there. So it's possible that I've mixed this too thick. We will have to see. But I would rather mix it too thick than too thin and, you know, negate the purpose of using the glue as the pouring medium anyway. And the last one is Burnt Umber, also by Blick Studio Acrylics. And when I mixed it with the glue and water pouring medium, I didn't have a particular ratio. I just added as much of this as I needed to get the right consistency. And I have about 3 to 4 ounces of each color because I needed 18 ounces for a canvas this size. 12 by 24 inch canvas. All right, I think we've done all the details. So let's stack our cups here. So this is the order that I want to stack them in, but I think I'm going to put a different color at the bottom of each. So I'm going to start with some gold here. And white will go on top of that. And then copper will go on the bottom of this one. And the copper is going to go on top of the white over here. Does that make sense? So I'm stacking them in the same order each time. I have 6 colors and 5 cups. So the white is not going to be the base color for any cup. I was thinking about stacking them all the same, and you can get some great effects that way, but I thought I would just mix it up here and also change which color is at the bottom, because sometimes whatever color is on the bottom will be the most prominent color in that particular cup. It doesn't always happen that way, but frequently it is one of the more prominent colors. And so I didn't want them all to be one color. I wanted to mix it up. Paint is super thick down at the bottom, so hopefully that's not a problem. It's possible I will get lumps, but at this point there's not much I can do about that, so we're just gonna go with it. So there's all my cups layered up in the same order, but starting with different ones. And I'm going to switch them so that the burnt umber separates these two metallics. All right, time to flip my cups. Well, put them down. All right, I'll give them a second just to let the paint flow down a bit, and then I will pick them up. All right, I've let them sit about 1 minute. So as I pick them up, instead of picking them straight up, I'm going to try to pull them to make the colors come out in these parallel lines. And then at that point, I'll tilt it to cover the canvas. So let's start over here. I'm just going to pull it back nice and fast. Would you look at that? I actually pulled it really neatly. So I'm just going to cover the edge here, making sure to go in the same direction so that my paint striping is going the same direction. Awesome. So I am getting some cells popping up from the gold, which is not surprising because the gold was mixed thinner. But I'm not getting too many other cells from the other colors yet, so that's good. All right, let's flip the next one. Okay, so that one, I didn't pull it quite as fast, and you can tell. Oops. The paint there in the bottom of the cup is too thick, so pull that off, actually. All right, let's do the next one. You can see a big thick lump of paint here. So I'm just pulling that out. It's not dried paint, it's just paint that was not fully mixed with the pouring medium, and so it's gonna give me problems later. Alright, last one. Okay, all the cups are out, all the corners are covered. It's hard to tell if I'm going to have enough paint because it's just sitting there, but it's so thick, I think I'm going to have enough. I'm just going to need to be careful with it. Okay, because I don't want tons of really big cells, I'm not going to torch it yet. I'm going to move it halfway and then I will torch halfway through. So I'm just going to sort of get the paint moving, joining up into one layer. I think I'll take it down this way first. Touch the corner, come back a bit, and then head towards that other corner. I don't want to lose too much paint over the edge here, but I gotta lose some. Woo! Come on, off the edge, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna pause for a second here because I did not mix my paints thoroughly enough, and there are a couple spots where I can see thick lumps of paint that are stopping the rest of the paint from moving. Okay, let me turn this around so I can tilt back towards you. Moving again. I'm just gonna take it really slow and careful. Gonna bring it down about halfway and then I'm gonna torch. All right, let's still a lump in here. Lumps of paint are not your friend, and I should have mixed more carefully. Oh well. Alright, let's torch. So the torching has brought up some pretty pockets of cells in different areas. Up here is really nice, and over here. So hopefully those will stretch a bit as I pull them down, as I pull the paint down over the corners. So I'm moving a bit back and forth, heading towards this end, because I want to cover this end over here and not just the corner. Here's another lump of paint. Man, I really thought I mixed my paint well. Okay, got that edge. And that. All right. Just bringing the weight of the paint back up a bit. This is looking super pretty. Super pretty, but it is quite thick. It's not moving very easily. Okay, whew! Gotta take a break for a second. I'm gonna torch just a little bit more, especially down here. I'd love to bring up some cells where it's not very celly. I don't want to go crazy with the torching and bring up, you know, tons and tons of little ones that I don't want, but I do like the bits of detail it's adding in there, and in here it's showing that dark brown underneath. My white paint split here a bit. I wonder if the Sargent is just not... I mean, obviously it's not as good a quality a paint as the studio acrylics, so it could be that just up against those other ones it couldn't quite keep up. So it looks very pink right now. I am trusting that that's gonna dry more red instead of pink, but it's definitely pretty. Very, very pretty. So I'm going to just dab some paint on the corners here, check and see if there's any places that I missed. Alright, let me give you a close-up. Alright, here it is. So I'm not sure which side's going to be up or down. I'm not sure whether it's going to be horizontal or vertical, but it's looking very, very cool right now. So we got all these little cells. These ones here, most of these ones in the pinkish area were brought up by the torch before the last stretch. And then this is the area where the white paint split a little bit. So I may have to touch that up with a brush once it's dry. Then these pretty gold cells in the brown, those were brought up with the torch, so I love those. And then I like this area a lot. And then, yeah, cool pink lacing there. Here's some of the little cells that I got right at the end with the torch. So yeah, it's very, very cool. I love it. And this is an effect that's really hard to get with Floetrol as your medium. You kind of have to use glue. Elmer's Glue All is what I used, mixed with water. And that's what made this effect. So let me know down in the comments if you have ever used glue and water as a pouring medium, and how did it work? And if you haven't yet, give it a try and then let me know. Thanks so much for joining me for this painting video, and I will see you for the next one. Bye!